Okay, so recently a VTuber, obviously, as you know, baothewhale, has been causing a bit of controversy over on Twitter, and this has been a pretty interesting one to look at. Now, obviously, I think a lot of the people mad about the moment are pretty stupid, and yeah, if they feel personally attacked by this, then maybe they are part of the problem, you never know. But obviously, this was the post that Bao put up the other day, and it's got over 4.1 million views. It's pretty insane. You know, they said if you're an up and coming female content creator with a small but growing audience, and a much larger successful male content creator approaches you out of nowhere and showers you with attention on stream, in DMs, etc., don't walk, run. And obviously, yeah, that is the small little statement that she made there. And I don't think that is, you know, anything crazy. I think that is pretty understandable. Obviously, there's a lot of people out there who will try to take advantage of up-and-coming female content creators and also male content creators. And I think that, obviously, the nuance is where some people are starting to get annoyed at Bao. Now, I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with this statement at all, and you know, the main point that I've seen being brought up is like, what about male content creators and what about female content creators approaching other people too, which again also could be true, but obviously she then goes and clarifies saying, just because I don't include every single nuance, exception, possibility of variation doesn't mean we're still not having the same conversation. Stay safe, gang. So obviously, yeah, I feel like it is definitely an important thing to talk about. There's many people out there who will try to take advantage of the fact that you are growing, of the fact that you are maybe new and smaller and don't know as much. And yeah, obviously a lot of people have been commenting on this, including Shondo saying truth impact with yeah, obviously the Evangelion is it the third impact or the second impact? I'm not sure. Said, get down, Madam President. Obviously, Muchin even saying, bro, this could not be more true, Lamau, especially if they offer to help you grow if you move in with them. They say, every crime podcast ever has taught me one rule: never go to the second location. You also got Yuzu saying, when you're at a streamer party / event and the conversation with another girl turns into, OMG, he did that to me too. So no, the idea of a party turning into a group therapy session is making me so sad. You know, Maxwell saying, I've seen it happen to people before. What's important is looking at the behavior. There will be a million random qualifiers that might make people think otherwise, but someone's behavior is telling, no matter who they are or what they do. So pattern recognition and listening to your gut feeling is an absolute must in this space. Even just asking a friend to double check if it isn't your imagination can save you so much pain. They say the power of not answering DMs right there, by the way. Groomers hate this one little trick. That Lucy Pyre released the Epstein files. That it breaks my heart how often this happens, coming from Arbali there. Say some of the hardest lessons you'll learn in the space, unfortunately, and they'll get away with it every single time. Shoto saying the way this keeps happening time and time again is scary. Said it genuinely is. I wish safe spaces were more prevalent for everyone. Even Giga saying this is 1000%. Saying 1000 times. I'm so sad reading these replies. It's like a Karen event for everyone. There's been so many different VTubers kind of, you know, responding and Bao responding back to them, which is obviously really, really great to see, because again, it is a problem. You know, there is a problem of people coming in and swooping up content creators, whether it like, even if it's female or male, like no one cares. At the end of the day, as you know, they said, you know, we're still having the same conversation. There is a big problem of bigger, larger content creators going in and swooping up smaller creators and obviously trapping them in some pretty terrible situations, right? And some people have got offended by this. For example, like this person said, I'm convinced this woman has to be one of the most intricate and stronger honey traps in place. Twice she has done rather horrible things just this year, and twice people without a brain line up to play the shield, doubling down on her sexism, and y'all just lap it up like ice cream in July. And obviously, yeah, I mean, people saying, you know, I don't know why they're so kind of concerned and so I guess offended by this kind of stuff. Obviously, people say, you know, I'm curious, what did she do? They just said like she has a history of it. That, like, again, you haven't brought up anything that she actually did. You just said, oh well, she has a history. Which again, I think is pretty insane. This reply here saying, I have very bad news for you if you feel attacked by it. Which obviously, yeah, it said successful male content creators does not mean all males. Hope this helps. Which, yeah, obviously it is very within, you know, what she says and how she says it, right? Is the main kind of point that many people are bringing up. Obviously as well, we go and see like if you read girls Watch out for obvious love bombing from larger male streamers and instantly think she's attacking me. I think it says a lot about your intentions. Which, yeah, it says, why do people always lack the reading comprehension on this site? That hey girls, if a successful male content creator, and they're not saying all males, they're not saying every single man on planet Earth is like looking to do this, right? But they're saying if a successful male content creator is specifically doing this stuff, you know, they're not even saying a successful male content creator is doing other stuff, specifically this stuff, like, you know, approaching you and in stream or in DMs and stuff like that, right? Then obviously, then it starts to become a little bit concerning, right? Obviously, you've got people like Deja Vu here saying, you know, final thoughts on this. Is Bao correct? Yes, absolutely, 100%. Is it worded poorly? Also, yes, 1000%. I think that's what a lot of people were saying, is that maybe she could have worded it a little bit better. But at the end of the day, I think anybody would have been kind of triggered by it, no matter what was kind of going on. Because again, people just try to find any kind of problem with whatever anybody does, which I think, yeah, is pretty insane. Say what she said can and does happen, but it's not limited to men. Anyone, regardless of gender, is capable of this kind of behavior. The issue lies in how the statement was phrased. It specifically targets males, which skews perception. The phrase much larger and successful is also vague. For someone with 50 followers, a creator with a few thousand might seem large for that person. Someone with 10,000 could fit into the same description without clearly defining this. The statement encourages people to view any male content creator they perceive as more successful with suspicion. And yeah, I think she is genuinely referring to like the really large ones, not like the kind of large ones, right? Said this makes it harder for male creators to reach out, collaborate, or build genuine friendships. If every attempt to connect is automatically seen as having bad intentions, how are we supposed to grow and form meaningful professional relationships? Again, this behavior isn't exclusive to men. Anyone can act this way. But when people tried to discuss or critique Bao's wording, the responses were dismissive, labeling critics as part of the problem instead of engaging with the point. So obviously that is what they're saying there, and saying as male in the space, is disheartening to see how the how the attitude to men have kind of gone. Which obviously I think, yeah, this is one of the cases where, yeah, you do need to choose your words carefully whenever it comes to this kind of stuff, because again, I don't think there is anything wrong with what Bao said. I think she's 100% right. There's a lot of larger, like I'm saying large, like millions of followers, male content creators out there who will obviously try to come in and kind of ride off of your success, and also maybe trap you in a situation that you don't really want to be in, right? Obviously, Arundel here saying, so many people are pissed about for this, but she's just making a generalized tweet about a trending topic. It's really not that deep. Personally, I don't get the outrage. In Germany, we say, whatever that says, I'm not sure, say, aka, those that feel affected are crying out. Personally, saw it, read it, thought, guess that sucks, nothing to do with me, and moved on. I don't know why people try to need to fight this. If you fight this, all you're doing is proving her right. Said because it leads so many other female creators silencing men who are also voicing their mistreatment and sexual harassments the women have done. Said people have actually are outraged by this. Bao being made into a scapegoat for broader, less definite problems some men have with the world. So yeah, obviously, I think a lot of people are on the side of Bao, which is great to see, but I think there are some people who felt a little bit insecure by it, which I think is quite funny. People say everyone who's crying about it being worded poorly at 99% men. Are we surprised? No. She basically said what's happening behind the scenes without sugarcoating it. Honestly, if you take this tweet offensive, you may be part of the problem. Bao isn't attacking male creators. She's giving advice to help people stay safe online. It's about power imbalance and internet dynamics, not personal judgment. And yeah, I think it is. Like, obviously, one of these cases where it's difficult, different in terms of which creator you're interacting with, you know? Obviously, sure, you know, 9 times out of 10, a lot of people are really nice and maybe have good intentions, but at the same time, you do need to have your guard up for stuff like this happening, because it is a common thing that happens, right? What Bao was talking about with the male content, larger male content creator approaching you out of nowhere, obviously is becoming a problem. And I think it is, yeah, more of like a reading comprehension problem for a lot of people here, because, you know, first of all, they say larger and successful male content creator, meaning they're very, very big, very lots of followers, like not just like, you know, 1,000, maybe 10,000, maybe 100,000, maybe more than that, like way more than that, right? Larger and successful. But then obviously they go on to approaches you out of nowhere. So obviously, if you've been talking to some content creators in their space or whatever, you're friends with them, you've been getting along, it doesn't mean them, because they're not messaging out of nowhere. They've obviously been friends with you for a while. So again, that is also the case. And yeah, obviously, if someone just messages you out of nowhere, sometimes it is weird, even if it's not a big content creator. So again, you know, that's already a thing that is put in place and showers you of attention on stream in DMs and stuff. And again, there's so many important points that she brings up in this tweet that people were just kind of glossing over. They just get mad at it, which I think is quite funny. And obviously they're saying, I'd hate to see that this is what you have to say to your peers, remembering while you have male fans when they're giving you charitability. If you take this much issue with being called a misandrist, then stop surrounding yourself with yes men and make your point clear, idiot. Which obviously, yeah, some people were mad about this, which is quite funny.
I had a lot of strong feelings about this, and to the people that are trying to dilute what I'm saying to fit their own like stupid ass anti-woman, I fucking hate you, you're misandrist, I don't care, bro. I don't care, bro. Go fix your receding hairline. You ever heard of minoxidil? Yeah, try that. All right? Don't care. Wrap it up. Okay. Hey, man, you're...
I love how this dude, this clipper, is getting like mad at the fact she made like a receding hairline joke. I bet this dude has a fucking receding hairline. Oh my god.
You're outing yourself. Okay? I didn't say anything. You did it yourself.
Instead of giving out bad advice, allow me to suggest a different way for you to pass the time. Shut the fuck up!
So yeah, obviously, some people are not happy about... Again, at the end of the day, I think the statement is fine. Obviously, some people can't read, and I think that obviously some people feel personally offended by it, which I think is pretty insane. And if you do feel personally offended by it, I think that potentially you could be part of the problem, which I think is quite funny. And yeah, I mean, there's many males out there, including obviously a lot of the ones that commented down this post, like Mujil, Maxor, so many more who obviously were not offended by this post and can obviously read. Which I think, yeah, I think at the end of the day is the moral of the story is read, you know, read a bit more, maybe understand a post and before obviously going on Twitter and getting mad about it over something pretty blanket and pretty not that well, it's not that inflammatory, it's really not. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameSubs, use my code Kaza, get 10% off. Again, they got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.